Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 5.13. Chapter is cost profit volume analysis, or it may be called cost volume profit. Cost profit volume or cost volume profit, CVP or CPV, both are accurate. Okay. Under this chapter we have already solved 12 questions and hopefully you know several things related to it. But there are few things which I would like to discuss is whenever you want to calculate your total amount, that would always be units into per unit. This is very important aspect. As in CGS chapter, in LIFO FIFO chapter, we have discussed if total amount is needed, you will be multiplying units into per unit. I'm just repeating, revising it. Then you have, if you want to know your per unit, obviously you will see over here. You need to calculate per unit. Units are being multiplied with per unit over here. You want to take units to the left side of is equal to. Whatever is multiplied over here, if you are going opposite side of is equal to, sign would be changed. Here it is multiplied. When you will take it to the left side of is equal to, it would be divided. So it means total amount would be divided by units to get your per unit. In the similar way, you have cost which is fixed and variable. Fixed cost, the cost which would never be altered, it would remain same no matter if you are dealing half number of units, if you are dealing 3/4 number of units, full number of units. If several workers are present in your organization, if few workers are present in your organization, that cost would be similar and same. Fixed cost. Fixed cost, the cost which will never be altered. An example which we have seen was rent of factory building or office building. This is fixed cost. And then you have variable cost. Obviously, the cost which will change according to level of production or level of sales, level of your working concern. Suppose if 1000 workers are present in your factory and you are going to produce something. This is stage number one or this is option number one. Then it may be possible if you are working with half number of workers in the same organization, same factory. Do you think the cost would be same? Some of you will definitely be giving the correct answer, and the correct answer is no. If you are working with 1000 workers or you are working with 500 workers, there are some costs which would not be the same. We are not talking about fixed costs as if you are working for 500 or 1000 workers, your rent would be same. But variable costs, there are some sort of costs inside any factory or organization which will be altered. Say electricity bill, if we are giving an example of electricity bill, obviously if 500 workers are present in the factory, they will be using utensils in different way as compared to the situation where 1000 workers are present in the same situation. Let's say at one stage you were producing 200 units, then you were producing 400 units. Obviously variable cost would be varied, like electricity bill for 500 units or 200 units will be different. So here we have discussed our variable cost, then we have our total cost. How do you calculate your total cost? When you will add your fixed cost in your variable cost. So in this way you can calculate your total cost. Then please be focused upon break even point. The first understanding with the break-even point is the point where your revenues, all revenues are exactly equal to total costs. So what does that mean? Your revenues are equal to your cost. That means no profit, no loss, zero profit. So how do you calculate it? There is a short formula, break even point, but you will have to see what requirement is. If break even point is asked in terms of units, you will calculate it by taking fixed cost and divide it by CM per unit. As you can see that contribution margin, okay, we haven't discussed contribution margin per unit. Let's see it. Contribution margin, but if you want to calculate it per unit, so what you will do, sales per unit you will take, and you will subtract your variable cost per unit. So in this way you will calculate your contribution margin per unit. Why we are discussing it? Because these are backbones of this chapter or backbone of CVP analysis. You will have to keep it repeating by yourself as well. If you want to calculate your simple contribution margin, then you will be related with only total sales, and you will subtract your variable cost out of sales. You will get your contribution margin. So see over here, and we will be referring over here as well to understand the question. It's little different. Why? Because cost is given over here from diner to floor. But since we are related with two types of cost, here there is fixed cost and variable cost. To understand it, you will have to make your mind, you will have to make an understanding about fixed cost. What we have said, if you are working with 2 workers or 10 workers or 15 workers, cost would be same. If you are working for 2 hours, 8 hours or 10 hours per week, cost would be same. Even if you are not working at all, your cost would be same. That is fixed cost. Variable cost, which is totally dependent upon level of production. It would be increased if level of production is increased. If it would be decreased if your level of production is going to be decreased. So please keep it in mind, and now come over here and start your thinking, start your search. How many of these given elements are related to fixed cost and how many elements are variable cost? You can see that these names are just given. An annual extravaganza, some party is going to be organized. Extravaganza committee has assembled following expected costs. So what I have said, these are costs. But what they have done, they have mixed fixed cost and variable cost. Ultimately, you will have to distinguish it, what are fixed costs and what are variable costs. We will see that. The committee members would like to charge 30% for the evening activity. It means they will receive 30 rupees from every person. If they are receiving 30 from every person, so this is your cost, and receiving amount 30 per person is your revenue. First keep it in mind, we are related with revenues and costs. And obviously he is talking about the break even point we have discussed here. In simple way, the break even point in simple is when your revenues are equal to your costs. There are formula, but concept should be in your mind. The first step which you will be doing is to distinguish which cost is variable, which cost is fixed. Here it is written per person. Now let's see, if 100 persons are attending, your dining fee would be different. When 200 persons are attending, dining fee would be different. Next cost is favors and program. It is again per person. So obviously it is totally dependent upon the number of persons. If number of persons would be increased, cost will be increased. If number of persons are decreasing, cost would be decreasing. So let me know these above two costs are of which type. There are only two types of cost, as you can see over here. When you will calculate your total cost, it has only two elements, fixed and variable. So let me know these two above cost, 7 and 3 per person, what kind of cost these are. If they are totally dependent upon person and it's not a fixed amount, means if you will increase your number of person, this cost will be increased. I'm giving you a simple example. If 100% are attending, it would be 700. 7 multiplied by 100. If 200% are attending, 7 multiplied by 200, 1400. So it means it is varying from one cost to another cost. Totally dependent upon the number of units, totally dependent upon the activity. So these two would be considered as your variable cost. I'm hopeful that you people have understood. We have divided these two costs, 7 and 3, we have distinguished them as variable costs. Now here band will receive 1500. So it's easy to understand when band will come, they will singing or they will be amusing the audience. Let's say if they are singing, it doesn't matter 100% are present over there or 200% are present over there, they will charge same 1500. So what it is? Fixed cost. Advertise, they have spent $700 for ticket and advertisement. Now let's say when tickets are printed and advertising material has been purchased, so what will happen? No, it doesn't matter 100% are coming or 200% are coming, this cost would not be changed. When this cost would not be changed, it is again fixed cost. Then riverboat rentals, they might be entertaining their audience by providing riverboat. Their rental is 4,800, which is fixed. And floor show or strolling entertainers, it's a part of that party, floor show. So again, I'm saying the same thing. If 100% are present, cost 1000 would be same. If 200% are present, floor show would be the same cost, would be with the same cost. It means remaining 4, 1500, 700, 4800 and 1000. This is your fixed cost. I'm hopeful that you have created a clear difference between fixed and variable cost. Above two is fixed, remaining all are variable cost. Now we can easily calculate our break-even point, but in terms of number of persons. So what we need? We need to have break-even point. The first requirement which we are going to do is your break-even point, but in terms of what? Numbers. In terms of units, you can say. Whenever you will see your break-even point in terms of unit, you need to have fixed cost, and then you will divide your fixed cost by CM per unit. Okay, so there are two elements needed to calculate break-even point in terms of unit. Here we will be calculating our CM per unit. Okay, we can come up over here as well. CM, or we should write complete contribution margin per unit. How would you calculate? For this, you will have sales per unit and you will subtract variable cost per unit. One thing I would like to share, it is very easy for me to copy and paste. How? I have already written this formula over here. So it was easy for me to pick contribution point from here, copy and then paste. But why I'm repeating? Just for the sake of your understanding, if we will repeat one element again and again and again, obviously it would have a stronger place in your mind. So contribution margin per unit, we need to have sale per unit. Read over here. Committee members would like to charge 30 per person. So they will receive 30 rupees, $30 per unit. It means we have per unit sale price 30 and you need to multiply it with variable cost. As you know that we have discussed above two, 7 and 3, these are two variable costs. So you can write over here, both are since variable cost. So you may do like this, 7 plus 3. We can write 10 directly as well. So finally you will calculate it. 30 minus 10 is 20. What we have calculated, it's your contribution margin per unit by subtracting variable cost from sale. Variable costs were 2, 7 plus 3, total 10. Variable cost 30 minus 10, 20. So you have calculated contribution margin per unit. And now you need to calculate your fixed cost. And obviously we have already discussed these four elements: band, tickets, riverboat, floor show. These four are fixed cost. So you can directly put it in your formula: 1500 plus 700 plus 4800 plus 1000. These are your fixed costs, and you need to divide it with CM per unit, and CM per unit 20 we have calculated, so put over here. Alright, now next thing is just making little space for better view. Alright, and next is to put it on your calculator. What we are going to do: 1500 plus 700 plus 4800 plus 1000, and it would be divided by 20. So here you have got. Okay, now let me know why I have written once over here and why I have written again. When you will put it on your calculator, your calculations will be vanished. That is why we are writing it in first stage and then we are putting it on your calculator so that you can remember. This was our first part, break even point in terms of units. This you have calculated. First part answer 400 is written over here. It means our first part is completed. Then next, assume only 250 members attended extravaganza. If the same number attend this year, what price of ticket must be charged to the break even? Okay, now again we need to have break even point. Second part is going to be discussed, and for that contribution margin format income statement we need. And you are well familiar with this format. The very first thing which we will write is your total sales, and you are going to subtract variable cost first. It would be contribution margin, and then you will again subtract your fixed cost, with which you will calculate your net margin. Okay, have I changed anything? No, everything is written in the same way. This is contribution margin format income statement. So for our ease, we will write over here units first and then per unit and then total amount. And you are well familiar with it, how to calculate amount. As we have earlier discussed, when you have your units and per unit, you will multiply both units and per unit. This way you can calculate your total amount. Okay, hopefully you people have understood that. Now it's time to create more understanding about the question. For that we are going again 250% attended. It means units are 250 for both cost and revenue, as they will always be same for sales and variable cost. 250 number of persons are attending. What is his requirement? If same number attend the year, what price per ticket? Per ticket, it means per unit. It's a question mark. So we do not have any idea because it's a question mark. Price per ticket, that means how much should be the price of one ticket. Price per ticket means sale price per unit is unknown. That means we will not be able to calculate amount as well of sales. Variable cost, we do know, we have seen that variable cost is 7 and 3. This we have decided as variable cost, that means 10. Yes, this we can do. So variable cost, how you will calculate? Units 250 and you will be multiplying with per unit, which was 10. So here you have calculated your total amount of variable cost. We cannot calculate contribution margin because sale is not present over here. Fixed cost, we do know how much it was. 8,000 we have calculated. You can see that here fixed cost was required and we have added all four elements of fixed cost. Total was 8,000. You can calculate over here as well, so that you must have your complete idea, because it hasn't been written over here 8,000. So I am adding 1,500, 700, 4,800 and 1,000. So this way you have your fixed cost. Now what is his requirement? He wants to know it in terms of break even. Okay, and break even we have understood over here. Whenever it's break even, that means revenue is equal to cost. No profit, no loss. So it means no profit, no loss means zero profit you are earning over here. Alright, so now start your assumptions, start your opinions, how to calculate these two question marks. Obviously, someone of you would have an idea. We have answer and we need to know the inputs. For that, we will start our reverse calculation from downward to upward. From downward to upward, when you want to go, you will change your signs. Here 0 and fixed cost is being subtracted over here. When you will go reverse, it would be added, but it doesn't matter we add or we subtract. Fixed cost will always be equal to contribution margin in case of break even point. All right. So first step has been done. We have got our contribution margin, and here we can go further up. How? Variable cost is being subtracted. You want to go reverse. Whenever you are taking amounts with your reverse gear, what you will do, you will change the sign. Here variable cost is subtracted. When you will go reverse, it would be added. So how you will add? Here was your contribution margin and you will add your variable cost, which was 2,500. So you have got your amount. Now again come over here, why we have written these formulas. If you want to calculate your total amount, you will multiply units and per unit. If you want to calculate your per unit, you will divide total amount by units. Please memorize this formula. Per unit, if you want to calculate, total amount would be divided by number of units. So here we want to calculate per unit, and here per unit formula is available, total amount divided by units. Here is our total amount and you will divide it by units, you will get per unit. So amount was 10,500 and it would be divided by units 250. So you have got your per unit. Okay, and this is answer that has also been mentioned over here. So second part is also solved, and our requirement was to calculate per unit sale price, and this has been calculated 42. Okay, and now he is saying refer to the data 30 per person. Prepare a CVP graph for the extravaganza. As I have said you will create your graph by yourself, and cost, volume, profit. All three costs would be mentioned over here. Question number 2 and question number 3 we have done, and you will if you want to see the lecture, you can go to that lecture and their instructions were given how to make CPV graph. So since it's not a numerical type of thing, so you will do by it yourself, and this was your question. Both first and second requirement have been sorted out, You can see that first answer is 400, 400 is present over here. Second answer is 42, 42 is present over here. In this way we have calculated our argument. So I'm very hopeful that you people have understood. If there is any query, any problem or any misunderstanding, you are very open to ask any question through messages, text, or you can directly meet. And this was our question number 10.5.5.13, and hopefully we will meet again for the solution of any other question. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I am requesting you to pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.